in a holistic way, and it's not just about calorie, it's a whole range of things, as we've discussed.
Well, New York is, as I said, calorific and nutritional content.
And that I would go along with as a starting point to see how we can work together on that.
So we could do that maybe here on chains that have more than 15 outlets.
Why should it be on chains with more than 15 outlets?
Because their menus rarely change, and probably because they've got the money to do it.
One is the menus do change, and two is that's not a sufficient answer just to say they can afford it and others can't.
So you're throwing reasons in as to why we can't do it, whereas New York clearly have said, let's find a way that we can.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. You've misplaced what I've heard and what I've said. What I've said is we collectively have to work together to get a whole holistic approach to this.
Who's we? Sorry.
The whole industry and government and its agencies. It's not just one person's responsibility. It's all our responsibilities.
So who's going to take ultimate responsibility and get the ball rolling?
Well, that is what we're already having discussions with the Food Standards Agency and the Health Department, and I would come back again and say we started this discussion with government 3 years ago about school feeding. Why do we still have school feeding at 55p a time when Europe has twice that figure? If we can't feed our children properly, why should you look to the high streets to start saying, well, it doesn't matter about feeding our schools properly, but let's look to brands in the high street to solve the problem? It's too late by then.
If the restaurant industry won't help us make informed choices about the food we eat, then why doesn't the government introduce legislation to force restaurants to publish calorie information on menus? Dispatches asked the Department of Health for an interview, but they declined, saying this was a matter for the Food Standards Agency. So I'm off to see them.
You're the Director of Consumer Choice at the FSA. As it stands at the moment, you're not letting consumers in restaurants make an informed choice.
Well, it's entirely up to consumers where they choose to buy their food, and I think it's important to remember that information is an important factor in helping people to understand about the foods that they eat, but it's not the only one. And that's why we've been working very hard with both the supermarkets and the manufacturers to make it easier for consumers to look at the foods that they're buying in stores and make those quick and easy choices. And certainly legislation is one approach, but what we've been very keen to do is to see what can be done on a voluntary approach, because we've seen the success of what's happened with the front of pack labelling in supermarkets. But I think the key thing here is what works for the wide range of different types of catering outlets are there, and there isn't likely to be a one-size-fits-all solution. But we're very keen to see what can be done to make it easier for consumers to eat out and eat out healthily.
The FSA was set up to monitor the food industry, but critics question why, when it comes to labelling, they're not pressuring the restaurant trade.
It is probably, at the moment, more profitable to sell highly calorific products than it is to sell healthier foods. I must say I am rather puzzled by the attitude of the Food Standards Agency to the contrast between the way they are calling for nutritional labelling on food sold in retail outlets, and particularly supermarkets, by comparison with food sold in the restaurant trade. I have paid attention to a lot of Food Standards Agency board meetings, and while I have seen them draw that contrast, I've never seen anything resembling an adequate explanation as to why they, as it were, let the restaurants and the catering trade off the hook.
So neither the FSA nor the government have any plans to force restaurants to publish nutritional information. Given that Britain is already the fattest nation in Europe, and we're getting fatter, I find it staggering that they don't see calorie information as a vital weapon in the war on weight. To me, it seems blindingly obvious.
In Huddersfield, the Foam family have been waging their own war on weight and losing. They can't understand why they're fat when they think they eat healthily and exercise. But we've been monitoring their consumption, and now I'm back to show them the footage. Hi Ian, it's me again. How are you?
Not bad.
You well?
Yes, thank you.
Hi Trudy.
Hi Joan.
You good? This is Anna, our dietitian.
Hello.
Hi.
She's been taking a look at your food diary. This is Trudy.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So let's
Would you like to
go
go
through it. Okay, right, let's watch the tape.
Alright.
Nice apron. Nice to see a man cooking though, I have to say.
Thank you.
What's that coming out?
That's a glass of cider.
Cider, right, okay.
I like wine in as well.
Oh, that's wine, is it? That's going into the food, what? Red wine, yeah?
On me.
She thinks we had dunkers.
So now what are you dunking in there?
Pita bread.
Pita bread.
Right, okay. Why do you eat pita bread instead of bread?
I like the taste of pita bread.
Yeah?
You put rice in it, do what you want with it.
See, tasting again. So this is your big chef moment, this is.
I'm still finishing that off, actually.
Oh, it's savoury rice.
Yeah.
So talk me through what's going in here. I can see some sausages there in the bowl. Yeah, on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Yeah, cook the sausages.
And there's 2 big steaks there that you're putting lots of pepper on. That's a lot of meat in one dish.
The most tastiest of meat.
Cheers! What's that? Is that Guinness again?
Kind of starts.
All right. That's very sweet. There we go. Well, that's the first bit. Pause that for a moment.
The first thing that I noticed was portion size of things like the rice, okay? You're having the rice with the pita bread. Now that's 2 carbohydrates together, okay? So when looking at your plate, approximately half of your plate should really be vegetables, okay? And then a quarter be sort of your meat, and then a quarter be the carbohydrate, okay? Now at the moment for you, I would say nearly 3/4 is actually the carbohydrate, and then you've got a quarter being the meat. The other one was the alcohol. Okay, there's quite a lot of alcohol going in there. Trudy, in this particular week, which is a snapshot, but in this particular week you had about 30 units. Okay, if we think of that in terms of calories, that could be between 3,000 and 4,000 calories over the whole week.
Right.
Okay.
That's a lot.
So if you drop that on its own, you could easily lose about £1 a week of body weight.
Right.
Okay, just by cutting the alcohol out. Okay.
And now for our secret footage. Oh yeah, here we are. This is you doing your job. How much does that thing weigh that you push around
It's
all day?
quite heavy.
Yeah.
It's not so bad when it's empty, but once you've filled a few bags and you've got a few bags in, it's...
Do you know what it was that you were eating? Sausage roll or something?
It might have
like
been a
that?
pasty.
Yeah. But you don't do that very often?
No.
No.
No, because there's not many places actually where I can get anything.
Yeah. So what do you do for lunch normally? You just don't have
don't.
lunch? Do you think you might keep a better mental tally now of what you eat and drink?
Certainly be more aware
Yeah.
of, you know, what's going in. Whereas before it just, you didn't think about it. But yeah, we'll certainly think a lot more as to what we're doing and when.
And what are you going to try and cut back on?
Alcohol.
So we've discovered it's not entirely a mystery why Britain's waistlines are expanding. It's not down to the glands or the genes. It's because we eat too much. That's up to us. But more than half our calories come from food we eat when we're out. So surely it's up to the companies that own Britain's restaurants to reveal the secrets of what's in their food, or for the government to force them.
What do you think about Channel 4 programmes like this? Pro or con, we'd love to hear from you. Channel 4 is thinking about its future role in the digital age and wants your thoughts. To have your say, go to Channel